after the big kickoff of this week on Monday. No hangover at all. Seems like the Bulls were right there, and they were right there ready to start sprinting once again. We had a strong start to the day. We had a stronger finish to the day, just continued throughout the session for the Dow, actually finishing up about 237 points. It took a little bit of time, but the NASDAQ really started to accelerate late into the close, finished up about 131 points to the upside. So another strong day. And we talk about records all the time. It seems like every single day is a new record day for something, whether it's in the major indices or you take a look, and I talk about biotech all the time. Yes, once again, yesterday, another all-time high. So the consistency is no doubt there, and it just continues. And we talked about volatility and just that swift move from just January 29th, trading around 37, and by the time we got to yesterday, we were underneath 22. That says something about what's really going on in the markets and what people are feeling right now in terms of the markets themselves. Now, energy was the leader yesterday. Started off up a couple of percent, finished up the day up about 4%, and certainly was one of the standouts. It was not the only standout, though. You take a look over the semiconductors. You look at KLAC-Tencor and Applied Materials and some of those names, Lam Research. You can see what I'm talking about. Just another phenomenal trading session again, and pushing right up against those highs. Actually, we're seeing the chips working pretty well again today. I did mention biotech already, but I'll tell you what the standout was. So we talk about energy. We talk about the beta names all the time. How about this list? Marathon Oil, Oxy, Apache, Diamondback, Hess, Holly, all these names were up anywhere between 5 and 13% yesterday. So just incredible. And the volumes. And we were seeing it in energy. As a matter of fact, yesterday when I was in the halftime report, I talked about some of the unusual option activity, but I also mentioned the fact that it wasn't just in that single name. There were multiple names within energy, including the XLE yesterday, where we were seeing some heavy buying and a lot of very bullish paper flowing in. So that just continues as we've watched the price of crude just move higher and higher and higher. And yesterday was definitely on the path for 58. A lot of people talking about, hey, we're not too terribly far from 60. No, we're not. We're pushing right up against there. Had a little bit of a pullback today. We had a sort of a mixed bag of tricks when it comes to the commodity space. When you look at gold and silver, a little bit up, sort of somewhere flat. You look at crude, sort of the same sort of story, but still hanging right around where they have run to. So that's been a pretty nice move. So in the pre-market today, we look like the Dow was going to give back a little bit. And when I say a little bit, these days, 80 points when you consider where the Dow is a little bit. There's no doubt about that. So it was down about 80 points. You take a look over at the NASDAQ, only about 20 points. You get a little bit closer. You get to the open, still holding in there. And now we're starting to see a little bit more. Let me take a quick look so that we've got it very accurate. We're down about 70 points. So we're really hanging somewhere around this same area where we're down somewhere between 60 and 80 points, and that seems to be about the Dow. Now, on the other hand, you take a look over at the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ was a little bit in the red and started to move back into the green, up about 30 points, up about 40 points, and actually, as we stand right now, we're actually getting close to the highs of the session, only an hour in, but up about 50 points on the NASDAQ. And where are you getting a lot of that push? Well, it's not as much technology, but there are specific names. Some of the Chinese names, NetEase and Baidu, those names up 4.5 to 6.5%. You had a nice move also out of Twitter following a lot of the conversations that have been going on. Can this continue? And how are they going to look for earnings and all the rest of it? Well, it looks like we've answered some of those questions. Netflix, Facebook, Skyworks, Activision, all these names continue to be names that are working to the upside. By the way, yesterday, 40.6 million contracts again yesterday. So the volume just continues to be a big part of what we are seeing as well in terms of some of the swelling that we are seeing to the upside, and we're seeing it also reflected with the volumes. The volumes have been absolutely extraordinary for the month of February. 2021 has kicked off very nice, very incredible to see some of the numbers that we have actually traded already in terms of volumes on the options front. Get educated, have an understanding. I'll tell you what, knowledge is king, and if you can understand the derivatives world, there's so many different ways that you can attack the market, and it's something that I think is really, really important. I'm not just trying to pat us on the back. We've got a great educational group. You can just get educated. Just find it. It books, whatever it might be, but understand the derivatives market. You don't want to go in without that knowledge, because you may get lucky for a while, but you will also find yourself in a spot and really wonder why things didn't work out the way that you were expecting. And a lot of that has to do with just having some of that knowledge about all these Greeks that we talk about all the time. And they really do matter. And it's something you really have to have an understanding for. So anyway, all that being said, before I came on, I was adding it up, and we had well over 15 unusual options already hitting in the first hour of the day. I just selected a couple of them. Under Armour is one of them. This is a name that I've been in for a little while now. We've had some unusual in this not too terribly long ago. Stock was trading about 20.73, and we had some buyers of April, the April 22.5. So pushing out a little bit in time, going out to April. 4,600 of these traded for about $1.25. So something that stands out is you're buying a little bit of time, you're buying some upside. This is a name that's already had a little bit of success recently with some of the earlier buyers, so this one definitely stood out for me. I talked about energy. Energy continues to hit on the boards today, even though energy is one of the leaders to the downside, absolutely the leader to the downside, although well off of their lows. Energy, last I looked, it was down about 1.5%. Yesterday, as I said, we were up about 4%. And that's kind of the way these energy names have been going. We've been watching these moves to the upside, then some pullback, and then another move to the upside. And the obvious path has been more up than down. So that's something that stands out. Marathon Oil. Now, this stock's only trading just a little bit under $9. And we had a buyer at 12,000 of the March 13 calls. This is a heck of a move, of an expectation of a move in a very short period of time. Can it happen? Sure. We've seen that happen just in the last couple of weeks with some of the craziness, the shorts, and all the rest of it, and some of the announcements we've seen, some of the M&A that we have seen. So I never rule any of this out, but this is looking for a fairly extreme move. I have to point that out. These are very inexpensive, 12 to 18 cent options. As I said, 12,000 of these March 13 calls being bought. And this has been something that we've been seeing not only just yesterday, but we've seen more and more of this, and including today, multiple energy names that we are seeing some activity in. So just seems to be the theme as we've watched the price of oil. And we were just talking about this yesterday on the halftime report. Price of oil in the 30s, the mid 30s, not that terribly long ago. We just got to go back to late October, early November. You can see it. Take a look on the chart and you will see. And this incredible move to the upside as we've pushed almost, as we said earlier, close to 60. So just an incredible move in the price of oil. Get educated, understand it, and folks, have a great day at trading. Be very disciplined. We talk about it all the time. Discipline will keep you in the game for a long period of time. You've got to have that discipline. Have a great day at trading. Good luck, and I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30. This is The Take, and this is where